Great volume in here in all your options, either side on your 0 day to expirations and your 1 days in here, especially on those 607 calls that are expiring tomorrow. Just huge volumes in here all around. Now, you do have to keep in mind that our net flow was basically bearish. The sentiment overall is neutral in here. But you did have that put call ratio slightly put heavy in here, about 1.2, 1.3. You also had that basically a strong open interest to the put side in here. But overall, you did have a bullish net flow of that call premium. So you got to keep that in mind as well. So the overall net inflow was bullish, but you did have that higher volume of put contracts being traded along with that higher open interest. So what does that mean for us in here going forward? Well, it looks like everybody's kind of hedging to the downside, right? So we're getting back up here. We mentioned this $10 channel here on the weekly chart, this 597 to around the 608 in here. We've been calling that for about the past 4 weeks in here. And as we're getting to the top of this in here, so we came close to that 608 today, about 607.85. As we're getting closer here, it looks like everybody's kind of skewing all their hedges here to the downside, right? So all the risk now is fully on the downside in here after this big run up in here at that April drawdown. So it looks like everybody's starting to skew and tilt towards the downside in here, but we do not actually want to call a top right now. We're just going to say watch that 608 level. That is going to be what we're going to be looking at going forward. Are we going to breach that and hold, or are we going to consolidate and stay within this $10 channel in here? That's kind of what we're going to be looking at. Anything above the 608, it's really that 613 in here. That's what we're going to be looking at. And then above that nice whole number, 615, 620, 625, as we're working our way up. But we do not really want to call a top, but little over exhausted in here overall, a little overextended. It looks like everybody in the options world is kind of leaning that way as well, because everything's starting to skew towards the downside in here. Although we did have that nice gap up in here today and a nice grind overall. Now, anything below that 597, this 9-day EMA is currently trading at 588. So that is going to be a good place for us to grab some footing. Anything below that, we're looking down here right around that 577. If we go to the daily chart in here, you can kind of see what happened in the past few weeks or so. You can see we've been riding that 9-day EMA in here and kind of wrapped around that 597 in here for right around 3 weeks or so. And you can see this big, nice, I wouldn't say big, but it was a gap up in here. And then just overall, just a nice grind in here. Just a nice overall, was it $6.60 something cents move in here that we closed out. So that is good. Also keep in mind, VIX pulled back in here, back below 20. We're right around 17. And also the Qs, your NASDAQ closed at a all-time high in here. And actually we hit all-time highs, but actually at a high intraday, right, of all-time highs. And then we closed at all-time high. So keep that in mind as we're looking at the overall market in here on your spiders. So what are we taking away from this? Well, obviously 608, 597. That's what we're looking at in here. In between there, you can kind of chalk it up to right around that 601, 602 mark if you would like. Tighten that support up just a little bit. And then also, that's what we're looking at technically. Also keep in mind that your premiums, although they were to the call side in here, overall, everything leaned bearish. Sentiment overall was neutral. And you did have that put call ratio leaning slightly to the bearish side with that dominance in your put open interest. So keep all that in mind as we're looking forward in here. We still got 3 more trading sessions in here to end the week. So we'll see how that goes. Obviously, anything that's happening with Israel and Iran, that's going to change everything. But overall, market looks like it does not care what's going to happen with that, and it's just going to keep on grinding higher until we start to slow down here. So we'll see if we get a pullback in here or if those 608s are going to be breached easily. And then that's just going to be another stair step as we're reaching all-time highs over here overall in the markets. All right, guys, if you like this video, make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We also have a Discord service if you are interested, and you can find all of our socials in the description below.